Queen Liliu'okalani, also known as Hawaii's last monarch, inherited the throne from her brother, King Kalakaua, on January 29, 1891. There was a new Hawaiian constitution that had removed much of the monarchy's powers in favor of an elite class of businessmen and wealthy landowners, many being American. This constitution was the 1887 Constitution of the Kingdom of Hawaii, also known as the Bayonet Constitution. When Queen Liliu'okalani acted to restore the monarchy's rightful power, a small group of sugar and pineapple growing businessmen, aided by the American minister to Hawaii, Minister John Stevens, and also backed by heavily armed U.S. soldiers and Marines, deposed Hawaii's queen. They imprisoned the queen and seized 1.75 million acres of crown land and conspired to annex the islands to the United States.
Queen Liliu'okalani was the last sovereign and the first and only female monarch of the Kamehameha dynasty. She was born into a royal Hawaiian family in 1838 and was educated at a missionary school and learned to speak English fluently. In 1877, Liliu'okalani's brother, William Pitt Liliu'ohoku, who was the heir of King Kalakaua, has died childless, and because of the brother's death, Liliu'okalani was announced as Kalakaua's heir apparent. For her future throne, she has devoted her effort to establish school for the Hawaiian children. During King Kalakaua's world tour in 1881, she was temporarily left in charge of Hawaii. During that, an epidemic of smallpox broke out and killed many Hawaiians. This disease was brought by the Chinese laborers who were working at the sugarcane fields. To stop the spread and protect the people, she has school support. This has showed how much she cared about her people more than the profit. On 1891, King Kalakaua died during his trip to the United States. Liliu'okalani was proclaimed as the monarch of Hawaii.
The statue of Queen Liliu'okalani, which stands between the Iolani Palace and the state capitol, symbolizes the overthrow of the Hawaiian monarchy. In January 1893, a plan to overthrow the Hawaiian kingdom, remove the queen, and to attempt annexation by the United States was carried by a group of individuals under the Committee of Safety. Soon after, American troops were sent to help the mission boys protect their proclamation that they're overthrowing the Hawaiian government, which appeared to be in total violation. To this superior force of the United States of America, Queen Liliu'okalani yielded her throne, under protest, in order to avoid bloodshed, trusting that the United States government would right the wrong that had been done to her and the Hawaiian people. Since Liliu'okalani was deeply concerned about the well-being of the native Hawaiians, self-determination paved the way to reach the goal of reforming the monarchy.
On January 6, 1895, the revolution led by Queen Liliu'okalani's people started. After the revolution, there was still no change in the Hawaiian government. On January 16, 1895, Queen Liliu'okalani was arrested and imprisoned at the Iolani Palace. The people who helped in the revolution were arrested as well. On January 22, 1895, a form of abdication was presented to her, stating that if she signed the abdication, her people would be free from their state of arrest. Queen Liliu'okalani signed the document because she did not want her people to suffer. During her imprisonment, she was put on trial. After her second trial, she was allowed the freedom to walk outside of her room, but not outside of the palace. While in prison, she also composed many songs, one of them being the Queen's Prayer, as she prays for peace and forgiveness on the people who had wrongly imprisoned her. On September 6, 1895, Queen Liliu'okalani was released, but put on parole.
Today, Native Hawaiians still feel the repercussions of the overthrow. In 1993, President Clinton signed the Apology Resolution for Native Hawaiians acknowledging the illegality of the overthrow. A Native Hawaiian sovereignty movement has been in motion since, demanding that the U.S. give back their country. On top of this fight for independence, Native Hawaiians have been assimilated through a loss of language and culture. In 1896, the Hawaiian language was banned, and although a renaissance has occurred over the years, only 0.1% of Native Hawaiians speak Olelo Hawaii. With over 7 million settlers arriving by 1998, native lands and waters have inevitably been given up for militarization, urban development, and tourism. Parallel to this loss has been the latest affliction, cultural appropriation. With the commodification of the hula and other aspects of Hawaiian culture, so-called paradise has been at the expense of native traditions. The overthrow of the monarch and the subsequent colonization of Hawaii has regrettably resulted in native Hawaiians being a marginalized and oppressed people on their own ancestral homeland.
After Queen Liliu'okalani was overthrown by businessmen and imposed a provisional government and was recognized as a U.S. protectorate, President Harrison submitted a treaty to annex the Hawaiian Islands to the United States Senate for ratification. Cleveland withdrew the treaty and soon after ordered a special investigator, James Blount, to investigate the Hawaiian Islands. James Blount was told to lower all the American flags from the Hawaiian government buildings and to also have Queen Liliu'okalani be restored to have power over the Hawaiian Islands. However, Sanford Dole refused to give away power and was successfully able to argue that the U.S. had no right to interfere with internal affairs in Hawaii. After Cleveland's term, President McKinley brought up another treaty to annex Hawaii. The treaty was blocked when the Hawaiian Patriotic League was successfully petitioned against the United States Congress by having less than two-thirds approval. The Hawaiian Islands was the obvious answer for the United States. Thus, Congress moved annexing Hawaiian Islands by joint resolution. The joint resolution passed in July 12, 1898, and the Hawaiian Islands were officially annexed by the United States, even when opposed by the Queen herself and the people of the Hawaiian Islands.
Therefore, in 1893, Queen Liliu'okalani yielded her throne to superior force of the United States in order to avoid bloodshed. Soon after, she decided to reform monarchy for the well-being of native Hawaiians. January 6, 1895, the revolution for reforming monarchy started, but there was no change at the end. 10 days later, Queen Liliu'okalani and people who helped the revolution were arrested and imprisoned in the Iolani Palace. January 22, 1895, a form of abdication was given to her, and she signed a document to set her people free from the state of arrest. On September 6, 1895, Queen Liliu'okalani was released. In 1993, President Clinton signed the apology resolution for Native Hawaiians acknowledging the legality of the overthrow. A Native Hawaiian sovereignty movement has been in motion since. Even Queen Liliu'okalani failed to preserve her monarchy, her efforts and sacrifice to preserve her Hawaiian monarchy and culture have to remember with unjustifiable overthrow of the United States in history.